All right, still training injured. This is the 22nd. This is a Thursday. This is when this workout was done. And 2 days in a row of deadlifting and bench pressing. Why? Because I need to do something and my intensity is low. So focusing on form, focusing on technique. And I thought in this video I'd talk a little bit about training methodology and kind of my approach. Everything has to do with the goal and specificity. And when you're just focused on building strength, like you don't have a powerlifting meet coming up, a lot of stuff I've learned from seminars and reading books and just my own education is I found that when you're building strength, you can do almost anything. You don't need to be, you don't have to be as focused on setup. Good form and technique is still always going to be important, but when you're just talking about building strength, it just means moving weight. It means messing with different rep schemes. It means with messing with different, how do you say, grips, handles, forms, techniques. If you normally do conventional, do some sumo lifts. If you normally do sumo lifts, do conventional lifts. If you normally do like rack pulls, do pull off blocks. If you normally do block pulls, pull off pins. That kind of thing. If you normally do flat bench, you do incline bench, maybe decline bench. You know, you do stuff that allows for a lot of variation, like sort of like kind of West Side barbell, the conjugate method, where you're just focused on building strength, right? You're just building raw strength. This is kind of what Dan Green said at the seminar that I really agree with, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And then there's the aspect of building the skill and the technique for the actual competition lifts, which is important. You know, you do this kind of at the same time. You build the skill to focus on building the strength. You build the skill of the bench, squat, and deadlift, squat, bench, and deadlift, right? You focus on the skill of competition lifts. But when you're just building strength and you're not too close to a specific meet, your emphasis is just building raw strength, right? At the same time, you're still working on the skill. However, you're more based on strength, which is variety, and then less on the skill. And then, but of course, they're still both important. Keep in mind, skill is still important. But then as you get closer to the meet, you're more focused on setup. You're more focused on mental preparation. You're more focused on lots of different things that allow for the exact technique that's going to be used in competition. And when should you start doing this? I think you should always kind of be doing this. But as you get closer to your meet, I would say 3 to 4 weeks out, you need to be more focused on it. And kind of what I'm doing in this workout is I'm just basically practicing setting up. I'm practicing proper positioning. I'm trying to get used to where I'm putting the belt. Can't remember if it's higher or lower. You know, I'm so used to, that's the other thing in itself too, is like wearing a belt is a skill and technique in itself. Learning how to lift with a belt is a whole different skill. So like the position of when I grab the bar is so weird now because of where the belt is supporting me, which is helpful, but if you're not used to lifting like that, that can really mess with your form. So what I like to do when I get closer to a meet and kind of what my philosophy has been, and from what I've learned, is that I just focus more on setup. And when it comes out to, like, you know, 1 week out or maybe 10 days out, I'll work out every single day, but all I will be doing is setting up underneath the bar for a squat, setting up underneath the bar for a bench, setting up for grabbing a deadlift, for a very light deadlift, and not doing a whole lot of reps, just really the setup. Why? Because it really helps for mental preparation. It helps make it so it's like more like riding a bike and you have the exact technique you're going to use. And it gives me something to do every day. You know, I like being able to have the frequency in my head. It's kind of like studying for a test. I'd rather review my notes every day than have a killer cram session. So here's a side view. And man, I hate these side views because my form and technique is so off. And one of the biggest reasons I think why my form and technique is so off is because of the belt. The belt kind of makes my upper back more rigid. And I'm not used to my position. Look at that. I can see this freaking seesaw effect 3-part lift that's happening in my deadlift. And I'm just going to try to hammer this home since I'm still kind of, as I recover, I'm going to focus on trying to nail this technique. That was a little bit better of a repetition. Still not very good. And I need to do a lot more side view angles because that's what I'm really observing. I feel like I learn a lot more from watching the side view instead of, you know, watching a front view. And kind of who I'd like to see do a side view is Pete Rubish, because he always does front view. So if you guys have any videos about a Pete Rubish or Nova video, please link it below or leave it in the comments. I'd like to see some. And maybe if you know anyone that has my similar kind of frame or looks sort of like me, I'm 5'8", 195 pounds. I like to, you know, if you can maybe refer me to another lifter so I can watch them deadlift, someone who's obviously much stronger than me, because in that way I can learn some different pulling mechanics, because I feel like that's how I learn the best, by watching other people stronger than me lift, and the closer they are to my mechanics, the better I'm going to be. Like watching Dan Green is super motivating and it's great, but he pulls sumo. I don't pull sumo. He's more flexible than me and he's much stronger, so everything that he does is so much different, and his frame is different, so he's freaking jacked. Anyways, that's my video. Hope you learned some cool stuff. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or any ideas or any suggestions for me. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.